Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Power Book 4, Force Season 1, Episode 4. What did we learn in this episode? Take, for example, that they really want to throw a lot of Easter eggs and/or references and/or past characters from the Power franchise at you at every single turn.
I love it.
It is
It's
a
really exciting. It's really cool for all the fans that, been watching this since the beginning, that really pay attention. I think it's really cool.
also Liliana. I
Oh,
pay
I
me and you can touch my scar.
I love her. This actress has such fire chemistry with everybody. Like last episode, I'm like, okay, maybe her and maybe Tommy. This
Yeah.
episode, I'm like, oh, Jannard. Oh, okay. The chemistry is just there with everyone. I love this actress.
Yeah, there's so much fun stuff to talk about here. And of course, hit that subscribe button because we are here after every episode, breaking everything down, apparently talking about our weekly love of Liliana until she's probably killed off because this show does not let us have the nice things in which we love. We're also covering, of course, Snowfall. The Killing Eve premiere is later today. We
Yes,
will have
it
a
is.
full review of that as well.
Also, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
I'm really excited. We had a really fun weekend. We had some homemade gluten-free choco tacos that we made. We've got some pictures up on our Instagram. And if
Yeah.
you want to give me a little bit of birthday love, head over to our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV, and give us a follow.
Okay, so let's start by getting this week's Power Easter egg slash past reference out
Yeah.
of the way. Tatiana,
Tatiana.
she's back. She's also dead within the span of a single episode, which I'm kind of like, really, guys? You brought her back. You know, you got like people talking and buzzing about this, and it's just like, okay, bye. Okay, quick Tatiana refresher here. She had a romantic relationship with Milan, who was really big in like, the season 3 era of this show. And we saw a lot of sort of, the Serbian mob at that particular time. And, Milan was ultimately working under Jason, who became a bigger part of Power in the later years. So many of these other people are now dead. Goodbye, Milan. You dead. Jason, nope. But you know what? Liliana escaped. She has a history with Tommy, with Ghost. Ultimately, we see Liliana get captured. We see Tommy eventually free her. And this all leads up to this big confrontation slash showdown that lasts all of about 3 minutes. And then Tatiana is dead. R.I.P. Tatiana.
Yeah, and I mean, it was cool to see that tie-in. Like I said, all the Easter eggs have been really fun, but with so many sort of different tentacles out there right now,
Yeah.
with like the Flynn family and everything with CBI and the Yardies and Tommy, on his own and all this going on. When they were starting to bring this in, I was like, oh no, like I don't need another arm in there. It might be getting a little just too much, too many just cooks in the kitchen, but it seems like it's mostly done.
Yeah, I think it's a situation here where the Force clearly has enough other rivals slash
Oh yeah.
potential adversaries going on that I appreciate as a Power fan their attention to detail, them bringing in all this other stuff like that is all really cool. I don't necessarily think that we needed Tatiana at this point. I feel like they could have saved her for a little bit later on down the road, especially bringing her back just to ultimately kill her off. And like, I was a little slightly off base with some of my theories. I've been on here, screaming about the Jimenez cartel for the past couple weeks with that, spider label on the drug bag. And, I know Jason and all of them had ties to it, but it's like, okay, maybe this will connect and be a part of some other stuff moving forward, but it also doesn't really need to be for the reasons you've mapped out. The other stuff is so compelling in its own right.
Speaking about compelling,
Yeah.
can we have more of JB's dad? Can he adopt me? That
Okay, really?
whole scene. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That whole tooth fairy with the little powdered sugar footprints.
Yeah.
I was dying. The stuff on this show with the families,
Yeah.
I am really enjoying. I'm really glad that JP's dad didn't just accept Tommy in and was kind of like, okay, you were raised by Kate.
Yeah.
I'm wary of this. I need to make sure, I made sure that my son was protected from this stuff. I need to make sure that you're okay before I'm going to be like, welcome. I like JP's scale too. He's like, you're a 6, maybe a 7 on the bad scale. I don't know. We'll see. It's a little bit of a curve.
Yeah, I feel like the bad scale could be a recurring theme throughout the rest of this show, but I do love how terrible Kate is within the sense that every single person who knew her, if you show up and you also knew her, their automatic reaction is like, okay, how terrible are you because you were associated with Kate? It's like everybody just knows that Kate sucked. It was
company you keep.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, JP's dad was really fun and interesting. And
I liked him so much.
He was such a unique, interesting character that we haven't quite gotten. And it did, this is the weirdest thing about Force to me is that, Tommy does have this heart and they're working really hard to sort of juxtapose this really crazy, intense killer who like murdered a number of people in this episode to then sit down family time with JP and JP's dad, where you sort of see, oh, these are the sort of things that Tommy really needs. Maybe he's wanted and needed this whole time.
We also saw a little more with JP. His club was getting hit again by his son. And it was a very interesting interaction here because JP clearly doesn't seem to know who he is. But D-Mac knows who he is, like all over his face. Like has been very purposeful that D-Mac has been hitting his father's club over and over and over again. And you could just see it when there was that sort of standing between them where JP was just like, why are you doing this all the time?
Yeah.
What is going on? No word, but like D-Mac looked like he was holding back rage. He was holding back tears. He was just full of emotion.
It's time now for JP to learn the truth. I think that this episode set it up in a really big way. I think if we continue to see D-Mac going at JP's place, it'll eventually start to be a little bit repetitive. It's certainly not repetitive now. So I want to see this continue to build where we get to understand why further D-Mac is holding all of this anger. And these actors are really, really good. And, I'm not that familiar with the actor who plays D-Mac, but he was so good in that particular scene. And just there's so much different stuff to explore here. Yeah. Plus, Tommy gets to be Uncle Tommy again. And the last time he was Uncle Tommy, it was with Tariq. And we know how that ended up going.
Yeah, I'm really interested to learn why D-Mac has decided not to confront his dad. Like, what is going on? If he knows that JP is his dad, why has he decided not to say anything? Is he just not ready? Does he never want to? Does he just not know what to say? Too much hurt there? I mean, this episode really brought me all in on D-Mac. Just that scene and everything that he was saying with his face without saying anything. I need to know more.
Yeah, and this is what I really liked about this episode too in particular is we have these really emotional scenes. And yeah, I know there's danger here, but I just look at those as emotional. And then you get that. And then a couple of minutes later, you're in the midst of everything with Liliana and Gennard. And this is the weirdest relationship that I think we have on Force at the... Gennard is... I don't know how exactly we describe this. Is he thirsty for Liliana? Or
he is. However, I feel that there's some chemistry there. Again, I don't know if it's just the actress. There are some actors and actresses that just have chemistry with everybody, like a James Spader. Everything you see him in, it's just like, oh, he got chemistry with this person, that floor lamp over there. Everybody wants a piece. And that is the same sort of feeling with this actress. Every person she's on screen with, I'm like, oh, this could be a thing. Oh, over here could be a thing too. There's something that's obviously a little bit odd with her and Gennard. However, there's something there. That kiss on her
Yeah.
cheek on the scarf, it was really tender.
Yeah, it was really tender, and she didn't like recoil from it right away either. And so, whatever's there, there's something that feels at least reasonably mutual. And I think if that actually goes somewhere too, it could either be really sweet or really dangerous, and quite possibly both, because if they get like a real feelings and one of them betrays the other, and I think we can all still raise questions about how much we really need to trust Liliana at this point, like this could lead to death, destruction, despair, and or me being really upset and in tears because they kill off Liliana.
Okay, so talking about relationships,
Yes.
let's get into my boy Vic.
Oh,
Listen,
okay, really?
I am really enjoying this character a lot.
Yeah.
He is complicated. He wants to make change. He wants to make moves. That scene with his dad was one of my favorites outside of everything with JP's dad.
Yeah.
Was one of my favorites. Him calling out his dad and basically being like, so if I go with Gloria, I'm not a man, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, but if I stay with you, I'm always a boy. I was just like, mic drop. It was so true. Like, Vic knows that he is stuck. If he stays with his dad, he's inheriting him like this failing business. He doesn't get to be with his woman. Like, he knows that if he really wants to be just free of this or with Gloria, he has to make changes, and he's willing to make those changes. We've seen it in this episode. He went and spoke to Diamond, spoke to Tommy. Hey, listen, I don't want to run things the way that my dad's been running things. I want to do them different. I don't want to inherit, this failing business. Everyone can work together. It doesn't have to be like my dad.
I like Vic so much more than I did in the first episode. And I came in with high hopes for Vic because this actor was on Hightown, which is a show that me and 4 other people watch and really enjoy. And, after, spoiler alert, his character got written out of Hightown, I was like, okay, what's he going to do next? And he's over here. And he didn't have that much to do in the early going that felt interesting to me. But this is interesting because he seems like on paper he would be the guy who's got it all going on. He's clearly coming from wealth here. Granted, it's drug related empire wealth, and his life could always be on the line. But the perception around him is, okay, you're next in line to inherit all of this. But it's like, what if what you're inheriting is basically imprisoning you to a very particular life, and it's not a life you necessarily even want? And there's something that's heartbreaking about that, and I think he's still kind of like swimming around trying to figure out where he stands, where he fits in, and that's why it was kind of fun to me to see him work with Tommy more in this episode, because I think he sees like this free spirit in Tommy who in some ways he wishes that he could be.
Yeah, and I really like the confrontation with Vic and Tommy, where Vic just brought Tommy to the bar and was like, we're going to go in here and have a drink. And, it all came out, of course, that Tommy is hooking up with Gloria. And Vic was very much like, I am playing the long game. Like, you just met her. So you guys are, having fun and whatever. But, like, I've been here a minute with her. I'm in love with her. I know she loves me. She's still holding on to this napkin that has our dream house on it. She still loves me. I love her. She can't be with me right now because of where I am and what is going on with my dad, who will never accept her. However, I'm here to make changes. His real goal feels like, I need to find a way to make things right with Gloria so that I can have the life I actually want. I don't want to just inherit this business. I don't want to be like my dad. I am not like my dad. And if I am going to inherit this business, it is going to be different. So even if my dad won't accept Gloria, and maybe his, associates won't, everybody else that I'm going to work with will. And I'm going to make those changes. And no change is worth anything come easy, and he knows it.
He's so much of a better character now.
Yeah,
and
he's really good.
Yeah, and like the more we see the Flynn family work on some level with the CBI and, Diamond, who I think is very much, he's not in the same boat here as Vic, but he is clearly a guy who wants to find a way to sort of navigate things differently than he once had and
Yeah.
try to find success no matter how it's happening, as long as he's not being blatantly disrespected like freaking Walter Flynn was doing to him earlier this season.
Okay, we're 50 minutes
Okay,
in this video.
all right,
We're gonna
all right.
have the Walter Flynn talk here. So I don't know if this is a hot take or if anybody agrees with me or not. And if you agree, leave it in the
Yeah.
comments. And if you don't, 1, 2, 3, 4 Internet Street, you can leave me a comment there.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Leave it in the comments. But it's just, I just don't find him at all threatening. And when I found out that this actor was going to be on the show, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm really excited. Then we had sort of the beginning first episode where it's like, okay, he seems like he's very powerful.
Yeah.
He's, a bad guy. He's going to do some bad things.
Yeah.
He is the least threatening character on this show. He is just a blowhard. And every single time he pushes out a threat, he never follows it up. We are 4 episodes in. I haven't seen this guy do anything.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything himself. It doesn't feel like he's really pushing his guys to do anything. He knows that Tommy's in town. He's, taken his son away from him. He's gone to threaten him. And I was just kind of like, meh. I just don't feel anything scary about Walter. I don't think Walter's gonna do anything. He hasn't. It's just he's been a real letdown as far as like a player in the game, really tough, really bad guy. I was just like, ooh, okay, go ahead, threaten Tommy. It means nothing. What other words you got? Okay, sit down, Walter.
They have to do something to justify his existence, because I've said for a couple episodes, I think he's going to die by the end of this season, because it feels like his only role in the show right now is being a roadblock to keep characters from what it is they really want to do.
He's not even a roadblock. Look, Vic is doing whatever he wants. He's making moves. He's moving in a different direction. Claudia's just like, she's not even part of the family anymore. She's making her own moves, making deals, bringing in a new chemist. She's just like she's not even part of the family anymore. Walter has zero control.
Claudia, I love Claudia and Vic because I feel like both of them are very good at what they do to an extent, but they do it in such different ways. It's like Vic can threaten to take your life and, he can kill you, he can hurt somebody. Claudia can hurt you in a completely different way, and we saw that with the chemist, where she's basically just like, I won't necessarily kill you, but I will destroy your life. I will take everything that you love and pluck it away from you unless you do exactly what it is that I want. Like, she is terrifying in a way that I did not expect early on this series.
She is the most terrifying Flynn out of the 3 of them. And actually, when Diamond and Vic and Tommy were all sitting at the cafe and talking, and Tommy was kind of like, 3 doesn't work, we need a 4th. I mean, they ended up going to try to take the business off the Yardies, but for a minute there, I actually thought that Vic was going to bring his sister in and kind of be like, okay, listen, if we want to deal with my dad, where I would like to get out of this business because I want to be with my woman, we need to bring in my sister because I know that she's already, feeling disenfranchised in the family. She's very smart. She's very capable. Let's just bring her in and move in that direction. So when I'm ready to get out, you guys can just keep working with Claudia. You can pay me out and I can go off with Gloria, and that's my life. Beep bop boop.
The part of this episode that I'm kind of both fascinated and kind of confused by is we saw this scene of Paulie and, who I'm guessing is his son, and his son's clearly homeless and struggling and addicted, and Paulie's a character who's just sort of been in and out. Like, he hasn't necessarily had a big role. And the kind of question I'm wondering is, why give us that? Why show us this scene when Paulie hasn't been established as a main person on this show, and yet you guys deliberately took a couple of minutes out of this? These characters are going to come back in some sort of way, and I don't know if this is a situation where something bad happens to his son. This inspires Paulie to maybe flip on the Flynns in some sort of way.
Bad, worse than what's going on. Oh my goodness. It was really surprising to see that his son was in this spot. And I think this is Power's way of sort of doing what Snowfall does,
Yeah.
like 10 out of 10 beautifully, which is keeping the show really honest, that it's not just, hey, we're all wheeling and dealing, everybody's getting rich,
Yeah.
and, all this sort of stuff off of drug money, that it's like, here's the reality of what, everyone is doing, what Polly's involved with,
Yeah.
and it's affecting his own child and in the community who it's actually affecting. That's what I think they're going with that, maybe.
It at least makes sense. It's something that I think Power as a franchise needs to do more of, and that is showing the
Yes.
effects of everything that is happening and is going on. And I guess because Polly isn't necessarily a main character, if something happens to his son, it's very sad, but it also doesn't change like what the fundamental characters in the story are doing. So yeah, that may very well be what they're ultimately doing here. I'm just happy that we have so much of Force left to go. Who knows what other random characters from the Power universe we're gonna see? Can we see Elisa Marie? That is still that is the ultimate Tommy Egan big bad.
Yeah, that's not this season. I just don't feel like it's coming this season, but I think that it is 100% coming. I think it'll be a couple seasons in.
Yeah, probably so. Well, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And as Jess mentioned earlier, if you want to give her a wonderful birthday gift, visit our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. Give us a follow. We have some really fun stuff over there. And we will see you guys here next time.